I spent a lot of time on the Odin project this week. I completed the restaurant page that used ES6 modules and Webpack, and I made a start on the to-do project, which looks very intense. Welcome to the series where I show you what I am doing to try and become a web developer. My name is Craig and this is week 26. Let's dive in to see how much time I've spent on web development this week. In total, I've spent 24 hours and 10 minutes. That's broken up into 8 hours 15 for tutorials, 14 hours 50 for projects, and 1 hour 5 for career. I'm a little bit down week on week in terms of total time, but that's okay. I had a few commitments that I needed to attend to. What have I been learning this week? Well, we'll start off with the MERN course. I'm playing the tutorial now on 1.25 speed, which has really helped. It just cuts out some of the awkward pauses and, speeds things through quite a lot. There is one bit of code that I'm not too happy with because I think it breaks the dry principle. Basically, there's one component that looks almost identical to another. I'm going to continue the video series and see if it does update. If not, I may update that myself and refactor the code slightly. Moving on to the Odin project, and it's been up and down I think this week. First up, I went over classes again, which haven't been too bad. Was introduced to ES6 modules, completed the restaurant page, which used the ES6 modules and Webpack, and then I was introduced to object-oriented programming, which has been a bit confusing. There was a lot of articles on the solid principle, which I read through, but that didn't really help. I do really enjoy learning from videos, so there's a great series from Web Dev Simplified. I'll have it linked in the description down below, and it's a video on each of the principles in solid. That did help a lot, but I'm still a little bit confused on some of the principles. I think it's going to take some time to understand everything. When I dive into the code later on what I've done with the to-do project so far, you may see why I'm struggling with the solid principles there. Let's dive over to the computer. I'm going to look into the front-end mentor challenge first, then we'll go over to the Odin project. I'll review the live website for the restaurant project along with some of the code, and I'll be going mostly over the code for the to-do project. First up, the front-end mentor challenge was a junior challenge using HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. The JavaScript was very little, really. It was mostly the mobile navigation, but there was a lot of images and colors, which it looked really nice. So we'll go to my design. There was a few issues I had. I'll start off with mobile. So I think the mobile nav works okay. Click it, a nice contact button. The images are quite nice. The graphic design section and the photography section, I really just played around with these a little bit. So first up, I think I had them as an image tag within a section, and then I was using position relative and stuff like that. I also tried using background image and things like that. I wanted to see what would work best. I was just experimenting, as I said. In the end, I went with background image. I think that worked best. There are a few issues. So like I say, that it's not great. And then it goes too big. It should really I don't want to say contain the image because then it wasn't full screen. And I think that's why I was really trying to experiment, because that doesn't look great. That's all right with the cherries, I think, because of the water droplets and stuff. This logo down at the bottom was an SVG. And again, I used a CSS mask property to get that working. And rather than use the 1440 pixels for the media query, I used 1040. I used Sass to write all this, so that was quite fun. Good practice with Sass. And there's some nice hover effects going over the Learn More buttons. And it changes to a 2-column grid layout on larger screens. And this goes to 4 columns. The images, again, I was experimenting with them. I have an image tag in my HTML, but I set the content using CSS. I tried to use the source set property for the image tag, but I found that using content and media queries just seemed to click a little bit better for me. But that is the challenge. It wasn't too difficult. There's hover effects down at the bottom. Should probably turn that into a pointer if it It's clickable. Yeah, overall, quite happy. Like I say, really bright and kind of in your face project, and I like that a lot. Next up is this restaurant page that was part of the Odin Project. And as I said earlier, the UI is pretty awful, I'll be honest. I did make this logo in GIMP. I thought that was quite fun. But this is all using ES6 modules and Webpack. So you can go to different pages. It doesn't actually update a link. It's just, you know, it refreshes the page on click. And I think how I've managed the on click wasn't the best. So I'll just pull that up now. So how I've managed this is I've got like an init function, which first clears the document, and it then adds the navigation, the home page, and the footer, and it adds active to the home page link. And then I've got this manage buttons, and I really don't think I've done this right. It's got an immediately invoked function, so I can click on the buttons, but then I have to call manage buttons again because it reloads the page, and that's just not great because I've got this kind of clear div at the bottom. So I wonder if there's a better way to do that. But yeah, I'm not too happy with how I've managed the buttons there. And then finally the to-do list. So I've got this running on my local machine. I haven't got it live yet. And all I've done right now is really used modules to build the UI interface. So you've got these hover effects on the projects. You can add new projects. Right now it's just saying project X. And you can add a new item, but it doesn't actually add a new item. And these buttons don't do anything either. It does change from home to today, but it doesn't update again. So that's something I need to look into. I don't know if I'm going down a rabbit hole on this one. I'll bring up my code. I'm trying to split everything out into their own modules. So a module for things that do DOM manipulation, and then I'm going to do modules which kind of work on interactions and updating data and everything like that. So for example, I've got a navigation DOM, and then I'll have a navigation, I don't know, event or whatever, which will work on navigating between pages, I guess. But what I don't like at the minute is that some of the pages require others. I don't know if that's good or bad. I'm not sure if it fails the solid principle. For example, I've got render page item. I have to import the add new item. Again, I'm not too sure if that's great, because that's basically when the new page pops up here. That's your add new item. I think this project is going to take a lot of time, especially splitting out the items into different projects, working on the dates and the weeks and stuff like that. It's going to be interesting. Challenging, but it will be very interesting. That's everything for week 26. I've applied for 2 more jobs this week, and also had an agency put me forward for another job. I have also applied for an analyst role. Like I said last week, I'm just getting a little bit nervous, feeling the pressure, and probably just think I need to get another job. I'm really looking for an analyst job that will allow me to code a little bit. I just really like coding. I think that's the main thing, so I'm looking for something along those lines. Next week is going to be very similar, working on the Odin project, possibly do a front-end meta challenge, and hopefully finish the MERN course, which would be amazing. All the links will be down below if you want to check them out. As always, I'd love to get your thoughts and advice. Greatly appreciate any feedback you have. And if you have enjoyed this video, please make sure you hit that like button. And if you'd like to see more, then please subscribe. I hope you have a good day, and I'll catch you later.